Hey, what's up you guys? My name is Rebecca. How are you doing today? Do you keep your son locked in a cage in your basement? I do. The idea of him going outside, meeting new people, women, females, and having any sort of life interests that don't revolve around me makes me feel deeply insecure. I am in love with my son. The fuck? That was uncomfortable for me to say out loud. That I don't actually think like that. I also don't even have kids, so today we're gonna be taking a look at weird boy moms. No, not moms whose children happen to be boys. Boy moms. You know. Defined on Urban Dictionary as a mom who is emotionally incestuous with her sons, these are the pick-me girls turned toxic boy moms. We've all heard the stories, seen the videos. I mean, there's countless of like monster-in-law, like bad mother-in-law stories. They're just a nightmare to deal with. Am I the asshole for not trusting my mother-in-law because she almost killed me? These are women that are overbearing with their children, their boys in particular. And if they also happen to have daughters, the chances are she is getting far less attention and being treated at least a little bit differently simply because she's a girl. The moms that coddle their sons for eternity and see them as perfect little angels who can do no wrong, no matter how old they are or what they do, while setting their daughters up for unreasonably high expectations and teaching them that it is okay to be treated less than a man. The ones that treat any romantic interest in their son's life as competition. The ones that wear white to his wedding. Those. Needless to say, this dynamic is not healthy for the parents or children involved. However, some people have a hard time recognizing when it's occurring just because from the outside it can look like a typical mom just loving her kids. Someone who's very passionate about being a mom. And I think we as a society almost expect the moms to love the children more than the dads, or at least we expect them to outwardly project it more. So in a lot of situations, these things are written off as normal or just not even noticed. I mean, who are you to say a parent loves their child too much? Like, is that even a thing? Does that exist? The thing is though, when it comes to boy moms, what is seen as like the powerful and indescribable love a mom has for her baby, it's actually just hella attachment issues. That's not to say they don't love their sons, but sometimes I feel like we mistake complete and total engulfment and overprotection as love. When you realize you're gonna have to when you realize you're gonna have to share the love of your life, my baby boy, with another female one day, alright? I'm gonna do my best to like blur the faces of the kids in these videos, but just take my word for it, this kid looks mad uncomfortable. I feel like bad laughing at it. Like, he looks so uncomfortable. He does not want to be there. You know those movies where the women like lose their only child in some horrible tragedy and she goes kind of insane, so she goes to kidnap another child to like make up for it and live in a delusional fantasy? The face he's making reminds me of that. Okay, so if you didn't understand the dynamic before, you definitely do now. One of the trademarks of being a toxic boy mom is hating their son's partner or future partner, since this kid is like 5. Or even the idea of a partner. I say partner, but I mean a girl specifically, because that means they'll have to share their son. First thing I want to point out is how uncomfortable it is to be like, oh no, I have to share my whoever. Shut up. Shut up. A person is not property. They're not a fucking keychain you can just carry around. A whole person is not just yours to keep to yourself. You should treat your children as autonomous human beings. Yeah, and you only have to share your son with his dad, his friends, his future coworkers, his fellow students, I don't know, literally anyone, but you only get jealous if it's another female. It's almost like he'll grow up to have a life outside of you someday, or at least should. And even at this age and younger, like for their entire life, they should have people outside of you. Can we also talk about how weird it is to think of your like 5-year-old son's love life? And it like, that's weird, right? But to be jealous over something like they're kids, what? Like the bond between mother and child, especially in the formative years, super important, okay? Like we all know that. But again, the point of raising children is to raise independent adults. And I also think calling your child the love of your life is a little too normalized. Now again, I'm not a parent, so maybe I don't understand. But like what happened to calling them, I don't know, like my love, but the love of your life? Your son? So one thing to point out is it is very common, I think, for boy moms to have gone through something to have made them act this way in the first place. Could be growing up in a household where the girls were taught to serve the boys, could be a divorce, simply not being fulfilled in her relationship with her partner, or anything like that. And so in turn, she clings on to her boys and projects those needs onto them. I think it's usually more of a subconscious thought process. However, I still think it's an unfair burden to put onto your kids. Like, it may not be your fault, but it is your responsibility kind of thing. Things get messy though when you're posting shit like this.
My boy moms feel me on this, but my son has my heart and my soul. I obviously am obsessed with Stevie Lee. She is just the greatest little girl in the world. But my whole life, I always wanted to be a boy mom. And I remember when I found out I was pregnant with him, and I was just ecstatic because I was such a tomboy growing up. Anyways, the whole point of me making this video is I had to share his preschool photo with you, because when I tell you, I opened up this email and I just hysterically cried. He is just everything. First of all, let me show you his photo from last year, because the difference 1 year makes, my heart is crushed. Okay, this is last year. He is just, I just want to squeeze him. He's so cute. Also, fun fact, I forgot it was picture day, and I sent him to school in like a beach tank top. So his guns were showing, no big deal. But let me show you this year. I have no words. The sweater, the ears, the sideways smile, his hair. I am so obsessed with this child. The arms. Oh my God, he kills me. The old man grandpa knit sweater with the little dress pants. He is too much. Anyways, that's all I got for today. I just had to share that because I have been staring at that photo all day long. Squeeze your babies. Time truly flies by. I don't know how he's going to be 6 this year and going into kindergarten. I can't talk about it or else I'll cry.
So the original video has long since been deleted, but the internet is forever. Gushing over your child's photos is, I think, pretty normal. And it's normally like pretty cute, but not when you're favoring one child over the other. Stevie Lee is her daughter, by the way, and all she got was like an honorable mention. My son has my heart and soul. Obviously, I'm obsessed with Stevie Lee, but okay, I'm gonna start with the obvious. If you make a statement and follow it up with the word but, everything you said before that becomes questionable. Like, yeah, I love my daughter, of course, but my son is better in every single way. Okay, so we could just fucking forget about her then, because as far as I'm concerned, you also forgot she existed. And I might be nitpicking here, but like, she says, yeah, obviously, I love my daughter, but to me, if you have to say anything is obvious, I'm questioning if it's obvious. Like, if you have to say it, is it? If it were truly obvious that you loved your daughter that much, I feel like we would just be able to see it and you wouldn't have to say it. It would just be obvious. But no, you felt the need to tell us that because you probably knew it looked like you were favoring your son, which you are. I get her need to state that, I guess, but like, again, she spent the whole video not talking about her daughter. Do you know those people that introduce themselves as a describing word? Like, oh, I'm Tom, I'm the nicest person you'll ever meet. You know right then and there that they harass minimum wage employees for fun. If someone says, I'm the most easygoing person you'll ever meet, I'm assuming that you flip tables over minor conveniences. But yeah, point being, if something is obvious, I personally just don't really see the need to say it. And I feel like a lot of the time, if you do, there's a good chance of it being the opposite. But yeah, she spends the rest of the video absolutely swooning over her son, which again, would be cute if she didn't also have a daughter, but she didn't make the cut. All right, sorry, the song is copyrighted and I'm not gonna sing it, but she's lip syncing to that song, You Will Be Popular from Wicked or whatever. The joke is that I'm shoving my kids out of the way to get to my favorite kid. That's the joke. So this is a very popular person within the boy mom community. I've seen her everywhere. I've also seen a lot of people say that she does satire, and I'm not quite sure how true that is. That being said, I'm going to respond to all of these TikToks as if they're not. Because even if it is satire, you're still involving your impressionable children in your jokes. This could very well be a thing that you find funny now, and maybe even your daughters too, because they're not old enough to realize how messed up it is, but then they grow up, they look back and they're like, wow, that actually hurts. Things from childhood stick with you forever. I can think of plenty of harmless jokes people said to me. Something someone says offhand and they immediately forget, but I still think about 10 to 15 years later. Yeah, it may have been a joke. I didn't find it funny. And I'm sorry, what's funny about this? The joke is that you love your son more than your daughters. That's hilarious. Yes, me along with many others would agree that emotional neglect is humorous. This of all things is what I would consider peak comedy and not something I would talk to a therapist about. Yeah, that's his mom. That's his mom. My first thought was that's his girlfriend. You thought so too. I try to be open-minded about things like this because I understand people do things differently. For some families, it's totally normal to kiss on the lips, and for others, it might be a cultural thing. Some families are just more affectionate than others, and there's genuinely nothing weird about it. That being said, in my personal opinion, this is too much. Like, it's one thing to hug your son when you're proud of him. Like, I don't think anyone would be upset about that. It's just the legs. Like, come on. Again, one of the trademarks of these boy moms is to blur the line between mother and girlfriend, and I think that's why it makes these videos so uncomfortable to watch. A lot of people would agree that it's a little strange to straddle hug your child. The comments seem a little divided, with some people saying there's nothing weird about it, and others saying, oh my god, this is the worst thing that has ever happened, call CPS, which I personally wouldn't go that far, but it is a little weird. This is kind of the behavior, though, that when say if you date someone with a mom like that, you are going to be feeling like a third wheel in your own relationship most of the time. Alright, for any of you that are like doing dishes or just are listening to me in the background, this is a couple-second clip of a baby just sitting on his mom's chest. Captioned, how do you explain this to girl moms? I hate to break it to you, but my dog does that. Hell, I do that with my iPad. I've seen a couple videos like this where the kid is doing something completely normal, but the moms think they're so special and different and that it can't be experienced by literally any parent. And they're so ridiculous. I'm pretty sure some of them are just jokes, but like boy moms have this like exclusivity mindset, as if you don't know what it's like, or it's such a rare experience. I swear these moms are always like, oh, you just wouldn't understand, and it's just her kid playing with sand or eating his own foot. That's not to say your baby isn't special, it's just that most babies do like the same thing, which is be babies. He's 5, but you can never be too prepared. You're doing this at 5? Why'd you wait so long? You'd have been far better off walking up to your guy and talking to his ball sack, because apparently it's never too early to start doing this shit. I would argue that obsessing over your son's future partners, like a decade before it probably even happens, is a little too prepared. Prepared seems like an unfair word to be using in this context too. To me, prepared means you've sat him down and had some healthy conversations about relationships, or you've mentally prepared yourself for when the time comes, or that's literally all I can think of because he's 5. But no, this isn't being too prepared, this is obsessing. Like, he's 5 now. Imagine what she's gonna be doing in 10 years. Imagine he's on a first date with a girl, or I guess not, that she would never let that happen. She shows up instead of him and starts like interrogating this 15-year-old girl.
I never thought that I would be that toxic boy mom. I love my 4 kids equally, but that last little boy just hits different. And now I feel like I'm having this existential crisis. Or I wouldn't be that mom, that toxic boy mom. He hits his sisters, he punches them. I'm like, maybe he's having a hard day. So when I think about my daughters getting married, I get excited, right? Think about their dresses, planning their weddings. When I think about my son's wedding, I want to cry. Boy mums, we got to step up. We got to realize that we are the problem.
All right, self-aware queen, I guess. I'm I'm glad my mother-in-law doesn't fancy her son. This is genuinely a horrible video. He hits his sisters and you brush it off as having a bad day. Are you kidding me? You are teaching your son that it is okay for him to put his hands on someone because he had a bad day. And you're teaching your daughters that it's okay to be hit because a man had a bad day. Grow up. She didn't say it in the video, but I would be willing to bet that if her girls hit her boy, it would be a lot different. She wouldn't just brush it off as, oh, they're probably having a hard day. She'd punish them, as she should. Treating your children different, especially in matters like these, solely based on their sex, is the definition of sexist. Putting their sons on pedestals is the thing I think I hate most about boy moms because of shit like this. They aren't perfect, nobody is, but to raise your kid to be even worse is setting them up for failure, and you'd think because they love their kids, they wouldn't want that. But a lot of the times, I think they might not even realize that that is what is happening. All I'm trying to say is I'm sure these moms love their kids, and I'm not trying to take that away from them, but I'm just saying that sometimes love can manifest into unhealthy behaviors. Either way, I'm sorry, but you are still probably raising him to be one of the worst types of people. And this also isn't just isolated in childhood, like they don't obsess over him until he gets to a certain age. No, they stay like that for their entire lives. And let's not forget the psychological damage this does to a child. These problems carry on into adulthood, affecting the people around them too, usually most seen in romantic relationships. This dynamic is famous for leaving a child emotionally stunted and having a very hard time or even completely unable to form close romantic relationships or even close friendships, all because of the codependency established between mother and son. The formative years are super important, and it is important to teach the child how to have healthy relationships so that they can grow up and form them outside of you. You learn everything from the people around you growing up. That's why it's so important for you to see what healthy relationships are, what boundaries are, how to communicate, how to properly feel and express your emotions. And that's why it's so upsetting seeing videos like this. It's like you can see in real time the damage these people are doing, and it's broadcasted like it's nothing serious or even a joke. Maybe I'm a square, but I really don't find it that funny. I'm trying not to be harsh in this video, so I really hope it's not like coming across that way. I'm trying really hard to be fair, but I feel like it's hard to not get at least a little bit heated though, just because those problems are so preventable, yet people like this just find it funny or cute. Like, but you're setting them up for failure. For what? Because you don't want to say no? You're the parent. It is your job and responsibility to teach them right from wrong. Stop. Like, stop. Just, this is embarrassing. Sorry, another copyrighted song. The song is literally called Toxic. Not much more needs to be said. I'm sorry, is that dough? It looks like you're also making a pizza. Who cares if it's this is so dumb. I mean, God forbid a bitch pick up a DiGiorno and call it a night. My bad. What is so bad about that? And also, how about cooking is a basic fucking life skill that you should be teaching your son regardless of how jealous you are of a person you don't even know exists yet? Her caption says, this is a joke, but I don't know if I believe that. Like, is it though? Who's out here posting stuff like this as a joke? I guess they are apparently, but last I checked, jokes were supposed to be funny. Also, I don't think anyone is out here being impressed by a frozen pizza. They probably just don't really care that much and want to eat. Or maybe frozen pizza just tastes good. Like, it's really not that deep. Who cares? You should teach your son how to cook so he knows how to take care of himself and not out of spite for someone who's a literal child right now.
So my son just posted on Instagram that he has a girl at his house, and I think she slept over, so we're heading over right now to go meet her.
That's actually vile. Post unavailable. I'm not fucking surprised. Imagine being like this. She said he had a girl over at his house. his house. As if it isn't weird enough that you're losing your shit over an Instagram post like this. Like, good lord, you would have thought he posted a photo from the hub or something, but they're in his bathroom doing fucking face masks, and I guarantee you this was her idea, so it's not even like she's just coming over just to do it. Like, even if they were together that night just to do whatever, that's their business. If your son is old enough to be living in a house on his own, then I think he's definitely old enough to have a girl over and do skincare without his fucking mommy barging in. Okay, so she has a key to his house, and I guess that's how she got in, and that on its own, I don't think is that weird. Like, I feel like it's normal for whatever reasons. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind is safety reasons, so like, you give someone a spare key, I think that makes sense. But I think you're far overstepping those boundaries and taking advantage of it when you use it to catch your grown-ass son in the act. Like, is that what else were you trying to do? You went into his bedroom. Because, like, what else was the goal here? Either way, it's none of your fucking business. If the goal was to get your son and everyone else to hate you, then I guess you're doing a great job. Like, I'm just saying, the first thing that comes to my mind is, like, well, you don't go into other people's bedrooms when the doors are closed, much less locked, because they could be indecent. What if people are in the middle of something? In which case, are you trying to see that? And if you do see it, especially on purpose, that feels borderline illegal, if not, like, extremely morally fucked. She also walked in on them like they're doing something wrong here. Like, these grown adults didn't ask to include her. I don't know, like, as if he's cheating on her. Don't you have a hobby? Like, you seriously have nothing better to do on a Sunday morning than cock block your own son? Go outside, talk to your husband, go day drink, I don't know, do literally anything else. Don't do this. You're actually kind of insane for that. All right, so this next one says, people stopped showing up to our family reunions because I'm in love with my son and it made them uncomfortable. Oh, that's actually not what it says. It says, born to be your lover, forced to be your mother. My bad. All right, okay, this is straight up emotional incest and borderline just regular incest. I want to know what goes through people's minds when they're saying and posting shit like this. Like, how did we get here? Words can't describe how much I love you, Hayden, and how I'm so proud to be your mother. We share tons of memories together, and sometimes I wish I was your lover. My fault for making you... Yuck. My fault for making you attractive. Love you, son. That's hilarious. I also find that funny. As if it couldn't get any worse. Like, yeah, your fault for making him so attractive that you couldn't help but be attracted to him. What? This is not where boyfriends are supposed to come from. You're not supposed to birth them. Whatever happened to just going on Tinder and being disappointed there? Like, I get the dating pool is trash, but I would settle for that every time over considering dating my family or being attracted. What? I will gladly live out the rest of my days by myself if it means I won't be anything like that. Weren't you excited to get married? Yes, but she will always be my first love. If you wanted an example of what this can turn into when a son grows up, I think this is a good one. Literally can't tell if that's a joke. So either way, I feel like that's far enough on its own. This is the kind of shit I would wish on a worst enemy, because it's horrible. What the fuck? It's your wedding day, dude. You and your now wife's day. I'm, like, happy you have a good relationship with your mom, but holy shit. We're just gonna put her to the back burner, because no matter what important thing is going on in my life, no matter who is supposed to be taking priority right now, no matter what I'm supposed to be paying attention to, mom comes first. I understand if some of you may disagree with me on this, but you will never catch me in a relationship with a man like this. You just got married. Should it have been to your mom? I'm sorry, I would be embarrassed. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm like happy you have a good seeming relationship with your mom. I would hope everyone does. But you can't prioritize your wife for one fucking day. One fucking day. So you shouldn't love your mom in the same way you love a significant other. Hope this helps. Yeah, exactly. Again, wedding day. This is about you and your now wife. Your mom can sit on the sidelines. It's okay to do that for a day. Ay, ay, ay. God, I hate this one. She said she loves me, but my mom can't fall asleep until I'm home. She said my acne's cleared up and I'm starting to look like myself again. But my mom told me I was born perfect. She asks if I'm okay, but my mom dreams about my struggles in life. What? Hang on, did I read that wrong? Oh no. She dreams about your struggles in life. Wait, does that mean she like wants you to struggle? Yo, it sounds like your mom is an op. I would take a bullet for my mom, but she would jump in front of it. I would choose my mom to be my mom in every lifetime again and again. Okay, good lord. Again, like, you shouldn't be comparing your mom to your girlfriend or partner or romantic interest. Why are we trying to blur the lines? We can do both. Both are okay. They're just different. May this type of guy never find me. All right, I think I've had enough. I'm gonna end this video here, but I would like to close out by saying that it is very common a lot of the times, if not the reason, for mothers, people, parents, whoever, to be acting this way towards their children because they've endured some sort of trauma themselves in their life, whether that be in childhood, in their marriage, whatever. And nobody deserves that. So I can absolutely empathize with that part. However, it is not okay to pass on unhealthy behaviors to your children. What happened is not fair. Trauma is not fair, but it's not fair to continue the cycle with your kids. And I say this with peace and love, but there are far too many people out there who need therapy because their parents never got it. It's shitty all around. It is, nothing short. And again, while I understand that things happen and that these parents probably do truly love their kids, I also think that if you truly wanted the best for your kids, you should give them your best, and that includes looking inwards and facing your own issues, no matter how hard it is. Like, it's going to be hard. It's not easy. It's probably going to be one of the hardest things you do. But your kids deserve that. They don't deserve to be held responsible for your feelings, because that's essentially what this turns into. I know a lot of women don't see a problem with this kind of stuff or dynamic, but it doesn't make it less of an issue. It doesn't just affect you, it affects the people around you, and you should want your son to grow up and experience love outside of you. I feel like a lot of people forget that in the end, you're not raising kids, you're raising adults. And I'm sure some people out there are like, Rebecca, you don't have kids, you don't know what you're talking about, you just don't understand what it's like. And to that I say, I don't have to engage in something to understand the basic effects of it. You're right, no, I'll never know what it feels like to have a child of my own and to know what that special and distinct kind of love and bond feels like, but I don't think I need to be a mom to understand that sometimes codependency is mistaken for love. Some of you might not like hearing this, but the truth is, this is taking advantage of your child. Even if it's just emotionally, that's still taking advantage of your child, and it's not okay. I think that's everything. Like, I'm shitting on these women a little bit just because that's what I do, but I hope I didn't come off as too harsh. But let me know what you guys think. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please run over the like button with your car, reverse it over them again, then go forward one more time, and then get out of your car and ask them if they are okay as they are lying nearly dead on the pavement. I'm gonna go stare at the clock for like 6 hours instead of actually doing anything productive. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!